Everyone, this is Majabin Baloch, and you're watching my YouTube channel Insani Itihad, which aims to invoke a little bit of humanity in all of us through awareness and understanding. So I'm making this video after the aftermath of the brutal terrorist attacks and killings of innocent civilians by radical Islamic terrorists who had been trained by ISIS. I would like to first of all give out my condolences and prayers for recoveries for the people who got injured in these attacks. There had been 3 attacks in 3 different cities in Israel, and some people are associating this to the Negev summit, where Morocco, UAE, Bahrain, and Egypt is actually having this summit in Israel. First of all, I would like to say that there are some things that Israelis, in my opinion, in my suggestion, need to look into very closely and monitor, and these are my personal suggestions. First of all, the timing of the Negev summit was very controversial. I don't know who suggested it, but if it was a suggestion from Egypt or any of the Arab foreign ministers who were present at Negev summit, then I think Israel needs to have a little bit of maturity and sensitivity in knowing how to go about with its relations with the Arab countries. First of all, the timeline in a year calendar, Islamic calendar, Israel needs to understand Ramadan is a very critical month. 15 days before Ramadan and 15 days after Ramadan. So this is the total 2 months of the year should be highly crucial for the Israeli security agencies and security forces, where they need to enhance the security protocols and security observations in the Arab neighborhood, especially the Arab Palestinians who have Israeli citizenships. I would like to mention this sentence, that Israel needs to not only be very careful with its enemies, but also with his friends, domestic friends as well as international friends, the countries who pretend to be friends but yet have major grievances against Israel. So neighborhoods of Israeli Arabs need to be monitored 24/7. Like the guy in Beersheba was actually released in 2019. He had been recruiting Arab people for the ISIS training in Syria. So these kind of portfolio type families need to be under observation at least 5 to 10 years, close observation. Whether they go out, whether they eat, whether they shit, whether they fuck with their women, everything needs to be observed. Fine, the security cameras on roads and in neighborhoods can't be planted because obviously predominantly it's a non-Israeli, non-Jewish neighborhood, but drones can be a very good monitoring tools, and on a lower altitude, drones can be placed for monitoring these houses, especially mosque, where radical ideology and there is a crowd of attendees or devotees, Muslim, that those are the areas where it is the hub of terrorism. So mosques, neighborhoods, everything needs to be observed 24/7. And I was thinking to get in touch with Elon Musk to have this project of smart zones, which can actually neutralize terrorists and have ammunitions, and they're lightweight and stuff. No, I'm kidding. So, but that was an idea in my head, that instead of calling on to policemen and real people putting their lives at stake, I think Israeli security has to work on technologies which are AI, artificial intelligence sufficient, and drones basically raiding the Palestinian Arab terrorist home, and are equipped with armed, those things. They censor, and because they're quicker in noticing if somebody is about to pick up a knife or pick up a gun and about to shoot, they neutralize. These drones would automatically shoot way before the shooter or the terrorist would shoot the policeman. So have these automatic AI sufficient drones or robots or whatever who administer the house raids and search operations in the Arab neighborhoods. Very costly, but this project should go on. Secondly, the Negev summit, instead of happening in Israel in a very sensitive time, right before 2 weeks or 1 week at least. I mean, on Sunday is the first, I think Sunday or Saturday is the first Ramadan fast. So the Israelis need to understand, and I think I have mentioned it before in my other video, when they were the Jerusalem riots in the same month of Ramadan. So Ramadan, 15 days before Ramadan and 15 days after Ramadan, no activity, high alert on security, 24/7 observation of the potential terrorist, and people who are under who have portfolio, they have committed, one of their family member have committed radical or terrorist acts or whatever, like in the case of the Beersheba stabbing terrorist. So keep an eye on that. 2 months in the Islamic calendar, total of 2 months, need to be high alert security and close monitoring. This summit shouldn't have happened in Israel because of its proximity to the Ramadan month. It could have happened in UAE, it could have happened in Morocco, it could have happened in Egypt, where Israelis would just take one NY or a group of 5 people along with a full-on security personnels. That would have been easier to handle than organizing an entire summit in Negev and then overlooking the security situation, and that gave these terrorists and these sleeper cells the opportunity to penetrate and target the civilian population. Secondly, there was this incident which happened quite some time ago, I think 15 to 20 days or even I think 1 month ago. There was this Russian oligarch, who was probably friends with Jewish, or either he was Jewish himself. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember. I'll check that. So this oligarch who was a tycoon multi-billionaire, he was murdered in Europe. And right after that, I mean, in I think in a day or two, so there was this young diplomat who was placed in Ramallah as an ambassador to Palestinian state from India, was found dead, similarly to this guy who was found dead in his house. So that sort of thing kind of sort of triggered my attention to paying close attention to Israel's international friends, because sometimes the so-called friends or pretending to be friends are actually very, very and far more dangerous than the people who are our eminent enemies. This young man is killed in Ramallah, by the way, for the Pakistanis who highly oppose diplomatic relations between Israel and Pakistan should know that India has an embassy in Ramallah for the Palestinian state. there they put their diplomats, an embassy, fully flushed embassy there, and then they have an embassy in Israel, in Tel Aviv. So they play both sides. Those kind of people are especially dangerous for both the sides. So sleeper cell mentality and sleeper cell concept is a very Indian, Pakistani, raw, and ISI kind of mechanism. So have a look in that and see if they have a connection or that sort of a thing. So these are my suggestions, and I hope if I would end up in Israel, I would volunteer for such services in terms of political international security analysis. Although I will be giving all these services and suggestions for free, because my first obligation and aim is to be a wife and a mother and a farmer or a kitchen gardener, if whatever the situation that will be for me. Step up, guys. Wishing you all the safety, all the best of luck in catching all those remaining sleeper cells, ISIS terrorist, radical Palestinian Arabs. Step up the game. Ramadan is coming. It's a crucial month. Who knows? It's a provocation to have an operation, full-fledged operation against Gaza or in West Bank. Don't do this. Observe them. Increase their daily observation and security protocols. Neutralize those people who could be deemed as danger, carrying weapons like knives, wearing long coats, suspicious looking people. Close observation, targeting the families of those terror attackers and neutralizing those potential terrorists, should be the aim, rather than launching an operation, because that is exactly what these terrorists want. Calm down, relax, watch them. Watch your enemies, watch your friends. Do not trust anyone. May Hashem be on the right side of Israel and Israelites and protect all Jews. And may the cloud of protection from Hashem hover around people in Israel in these tiring times. Thank you very much. Stay safe, be safe, and bless you all. Thank you.